When you start looking for products for your Amazon wholesale business, you're going to come across some products that you may see and you may think that they are incredibly profitable opportunities. But if you're not careful and you don't know what to look for, then these actually may be costly mistakes that may lose you your investment. In this video, we're going to go over 4 different red flags to look for when you're doing product research to avoid buying any dud products that lose you money, or to buy any products that just sit in inventory for months and months at a time. Hey, what's going on guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, we talk e-commerce, self-development, and entrepreneurship. So if you're into that kind of thing, then make sure to subscribe and turn on your bell notification so you guys don't miss any videos in the future. Now that you're subscribed, let's get right into the video. All right, so red flag number 1 is that you would be the only FBA seller on the listing. You might be asking yourself, hey Marvin, that would be fantastic. I would be making so much money getting all of the sales and making all of the profit on that listing because I am the only FBA seller on there, or potentially. And yes, that may be the case, or it may not be the case. But whenever you see a listing where you're gonna be the only FBA seller, in my opinion, you need to dig a little bit deeper before you purchase that product to look for a reason why there are no FBA sellers on that listing. Does it happen to just be that everyone is out of stock and you have found some stock from a supplier that nobody else has? Fantastic. That is a great scenario because there have been a history of FBA sellers on the listing, but currently everyone is out of stock, but you have the ability to buy some inventory and take all of the sales. In that scenario, fantastic. But what if you just look and you're going to be the only FBA seller, but the brand is on the listing and they have managed to take everyone other than themselves off of that listing? In that case, you may be looking at some problems with IP complaints or complaints of any kind where the brand is going to try to control that listing and take you off of it if you do happen to jump on there. Or it may be a private label product that your supplier has inventory for and they're trying to sell it to you, but if you jump on that listing, again, they're going to kick you off and you're going to be stuck with all that inventory. So although these listings could potentially be great opportunities, it just requires a little bit more research on your end to make sure that it's a good opportunity and not a risky situation that you're going to be walking into. So just make sure that if you're looking at a listing, you're going to be the only FBA seller, do a little bit more research. Have there been FBA sellers in the past? If there have, how recently have those FBA sellers been on that listing? Once you check everything out and everything looks good, then you're good to go and you will make a lot of money on those listings if you're the only seller and it's selling well. All right, now red flag number 2, a large amount of sellers have disappeared from a listing in a very short time frame. Now, if you know your way around the Keepa software, then you know that it's an incredibly powerful tool when it comes to doing product research. It gives us sales rank to tell us how fast or slow a particular product is moving. It gives us buy box statistics to let us know at what price the buy box is selling at for an extended period of time. It also gives us historical data. So if you click on the more historical data on the lower right tab of your Keepa graph, then it will bring out another chart where it shows you all of the offers or all of the sellers on the listing currently. And if you see all those sellers are consistently at, let's say there's 40 or 50 sellers on that listing, and all of a sudden half of those people are gone and then more are dropping every single day in a very short time frame, you might want to slow down on purchasing that product because it could be the brand filing IP complaints or complaints of any kind on those sellers to, again, try to control that listing. So just make sure that you always look at the Keepa graph, not only look at the sales velocity and the buy box and all those things, but also look at the amount of sellers. If a large amount of sellers have dropped off overnight or in a very short time period, then just reconsider that product to see if there's going to be any additional problems that you're going to deal with if you do get on that listing. Now, if this brand has a history of filing IP complaints, then there's different softwares that you can use that would alert you before you go ahead and purchase that product. It would alert you right on the listing. Now, I personally use Scan Unlimited and their Chrome extension, which just tells me right on the listing, it pops up a big icon that this brand is known for filing IP complaints, and then I can make the decision from there. But a very helpful tool to help you avoid or minimize the chances of you dealing with these IP complaints. All right, now red flag number 3, inflated price. I know I've talked about this in other videos, but I literally cannot overstate this enough. Inflated price in new sellers is one of the biggest reasons why new sellers come into here and lose money. They see a big flashy, let's say $50 selling price, and they're getting it for $20. And they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna make so much money. But if they were just to look back for the last 6 months or the last year, they would see that that listing is actually selling for $20 and they're going to lose a lot of money once that price goes back. Because if you see a listing that's selling for $50, maybe it's been selling for the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks at that price, but for the last 6 months or the last year, it has sold at an average price of $20, then chances are it's gonna go back down to that price. And if you buy that product for $20, hoping that you're gonna make a bunch of money, chances are you're gonna lose some money. So always look at the history. You have all of that data at your fingertips, and all you have to do is click a couple of buttons, take some time to look at the data, and then make that decision. But inflated price costs a lot of people money. Do not fall for inflated price. It doesn't matter how tempting it is. Chances are you're not gonna be able to get there in time to benefit from it. So don't think that you can time the listing, get your inventory in the door and available for sale at Amazon before that listing goes down, because it might not happen. And then you might lose some money. All right, red flag number 4 is that one seller is getting too much of the buy box. Now, if you go to buy box statistics on your Keeper graph, you go to data, then to buy box statistics, it will tell you what the estimated amount of buy box percentage each seller is getting. Now, this is an estimation to help you look through the listing and make that decision for yourself. A lot of different factors come into play here. You know, time on the listing. One seller getting 75% of the buy box, but everybody else literally just showed up. That's a different scenario. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're using these softwares, is that they're softwares. They're not perfect. They're not going to take every single thing into account. But generally, if we see a listing and let's say one seller is getting 75% of that buy box, that's not a great thing. Okay, because that means, let's say there was an imaginary listing that we all wanted to sell on, and it's selling 100 units per month on this imaginary listing. And currently there's 3 sellers, but with you, there's going to be 4. So 4 of you would split the 100 sales evenly in a perfect scenario, all of you getting 25 sales. But if one seller is getting 75% of those sales per month, then that 25 units that everybody would get would turn into 25 units that 3 other sellers would be splitting. Now, this isn't set in stone math. I'm not telling you this is the equation to go off of, but it's just a way to visualize how big of a problem it would be if one seller is getting 75% of the buy box, how that's going to influence all of the other sales on that listing. So always look at the buy box statistics now more than ever to see that that buy box is rotating evenly, so that you don't get stuck ordering too much and not having anything sell. Look for an evenly or semi-evenly distributed buy box percentage. Okay, and again, this is a software, it's not set in stone, so test orders would be your best friend in this scenario to make sure that you looked at all the data correctly. And if you start selling more than you anticipated, then fantastic. Now you have some hard data to go off of because you sent in a test order, you sold out of that test order in a couple of days, and now you can kind of gauge what kind of sales you're going to be getting. Now, if you're just getting started and you want to make sure that you're not missing any key information when it comes to this Amazon wholesale business, then I want you to watch the video that's going to pop up on screen here shortly, where I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to start this Amazon wholesale business completely free. It's a free video on here. So just make sure you watch that one if you want to learn how to do Amazon wholesale and you don't want to miss any steps in between. With that being said, I'll see you guys in that next video.